Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the CEO Sports Show for January. I think it's the 18th. It is the 18th, 2026. And on today's episode, we are going to be breaking down the two games that happened on divisional round weekend. Day two, we had obviously Saturday. We had the games on Saturday, and now we're in day two of the divisional round. I am going to miss football on Saturdays because now there's no college football on Saturdays and there's no NFL on Saturdays. So, that's going to suck. It's going to feel weird without it, but I guess I just got to start watching more college basketball now, right? Because that's like the thing to watch on Saturdays after the football season. But that's besides the point. I'm rambling. Let's get into these games. Before we do, please make sure to hit that like button and make sure to subscribe. Make sure to check out the other shows on the Kretschman Media Network. I would greatly appreciate that. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. So we're going to start off with the Rams and Bears game. The way I feel about the Rams coming out of this game, I'm not as high on them as I was going into the playoffs. I thought going into the playoffs, even though they did not win their division, I still thought that they were going to get to the Super Bowl and ultimately win the Super Bowl. Even after this performance against the Bears, I just don't feel confident saying that. Like they went to the overtime with the Bears in a game where Caleb Williams threw 3 interceptions. And it's not like the Bears defense is some outstanding defense. And you're going to play Seattle in Seattle. I don't like the Rams' chances in that game. And I get it. Like the Rams stepped up and they made plays when they needed to make plays, especially Matthew Stafford. That throw in overtime to get them in position to kick that field goal to win the game, as impressive of a throw as you're going to see. But overall, when you look at the macro view of this game, there were some really mind-boggling things that the Rams did here. Like the fact that you couldn't put up more points on the Chicago Bears a week after your performance against the Carolina Panthers, where it looked like Carolina should have won that game. And there's no way you're telling me that Carolina is some really good football team. They didn't even have a winning record this year and they made the playoffs. And the Rams went down to the wire with them. So when I look at what the Rams are doing and what the Seattle Seahawks are doing, how in the world am I going to be able to convince myself that the Rams are a better football team than Seattle and that they're going to win this game? I don't see that at all. Now, could it come into place for the Los Angeles Rams and you have Devontae and Puka playing at a really high level and Stafford's getting the ball to them and they're running the football effectively and their defense is stepping up? Can I see that happening? Yes, because they are a very talented football team. But do I see that happening against the Seattle Seahawks, who have like the second best or third best defense in the league outside of Houston? Do I see that happening? No, I don't. I think Seattle is going to win that game. I think they're going to win that game convincingly. I'm not saying it's like a 10-plus point victory, but I think they'll probably win by a touchdown, and we'll probably be watching that game saying, we know who's going to win this game. Yeah, it could be a 10-point game or it could be a 7-point game, right? And the Seahawks have a 7-point lead, and we're looking at this like, Rams ain't going to score here. I don't know. And I'm not trying to sound like a hater of the Rams. Matthew Stafford's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. And I love the Rams coming into the season. I had them winning the Super Bowl coming into the season. Coming into the playoffs, I had them winning the Super Bowl. But when I look at their performance throughout the course of these playoffs, I get it. The Bears are a good football team. But at the same time, do I think the Bears are on the Seahawks level? Absolutely not. And the Rams almost lost this game in a game where the quarterback gave them the ball 3 times. I mean, that's just awful. It's not awful because you won a divisional round playoff games and wins come, wins, you're going to take a win no matter what. But when I look at the Rams, this is not like, yes, they have a young core, right? Like, especially when you look at the defensive side of the ball, they do not have a young quarterback, right? Like, this is their window. So I'm going to be more critical on them when I'm not seeing great play out of them than I'm going to be out of a team who, has a younger quarterback, like the Green Bay Packers per se, right? Like, I'm going to be more critical about the Rams because they have a window and they could cash in on an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. And they could still absolutely win the Super Bowl this year. If they get past Seattle, they're going to win the Super Bowl. Like, I think we're seeing the Super Bowl next week in the NFC Championship game. I think it's either going to be Seattle or it's going to be LA who wins the Super Bowl this year. But at the same time, when you're asking me, who do I feel more confident in? The Rams or the Seahawks? Right now, it's the Seahawks. It's not a question either. I don't like the way that the Rams have been playing recently. I haven't been impressed. The Week 18 loss to the Falcons, inexcusable. You go to Carolina, you win against an 8-9 football team, and you needed a last drive touchdown to win that game. Then you go into Chicago, and they're giving you every opportunity to beat them and finish the game. And yes, you did end up making the plays at the end of the game to win this game. But when we're talking about this, like, look, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, when it comes to the Rams, I am not thinking about, hey, they took a step in the right direction. They can go get them next year. Absolutely not. Not with a 37-year-old quarterback. No way. This might be the last great opportunity they have to win a Super Bowl. So I'm going to be very harsh on the Rams because I want them to get this done. I want the Rams to prove me wrong and go win the Super Bowl this year. I love Matthew Stafford. I think he's an awesome quarterback. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. But the confidence level, do I feel that confident in them making this happen and getting the job done? No, I don't. I don't think they're going to beat Seattle next week. But if they do, I mean, like, all bets are off at that point because I'm not necessarily like overly impressed with either of the teams in the AFC. Like if the Broncos had Bo Nix, yeah, I might feel a little different about them. If, you know what I'm saying? Like, the thing is with the Patriots, I mean, like, we'll talk about the Patriots later in the episode, but that's besides the point. I'm just seeing a Rams team that's kind of running out of juice here, and I hope they get it together. I would love to see it, but if we're looking at how they played against the Chicago Bears and how the Seahawks played against the 49ers, I don't know how you can come out of both of these games saying you feel confident in the Rams to win. And I get it. That's not how football math works. I get it. I understand that. But at the same time, I'm just going off what I'm seeing with my eyes. What I'm seeing with my eyes. And especially like when you look at, it's not just the game against the 49ers in the divisional round. It's the game week 18 where they won the division as well, where they thoroughly outplayed the San Francisco 49ers. That's what I'm looking at. It's not just what I saw them do this week. It's what I saw them do 2 weeks ago and what I've seen the Seattle Seahawks do all season. And the fact that they beat the Rams in Seattle. Yes, that was a game where, like that game went to overtime, but I just think both these teams are heading in two different directions here. So, hey, look, if they win the Seattle game, I'm gonna predict that they're gonna win the Super Bowl, but I don't think they're gonna win that game. Let's move on though to the Chicago Bears. And I know like when people are gonna watch this back, they're gonna be like, why do you sound more complimentary of the Chicago Bears than you do of the Los Angeles Rams? Here's the reason why I'm going to sound more complimentary and more optimistic about the Bears than I do the Los Angeles Rams. Because when I look at the Rams are a team that I looked at and I said, I have Super Bowl expectations for them. At the beginning of the year, I said, that is a team that can go and win the Super Bowl. That is a team that has Super Bowl expectations. I did not have those same expectations for the Chicago Bears. Them even getting to the divisional round, to me, I think is a home run. Like if you were to tell a Bears fan at the beginning of the season, I get it, the expectations change when you start seeing the results throughout the course of the season. I get that. But at the same time, like if you were to tell a Bears fan that not only would you make the playoffs, but you win your division, not only do you win your division, you go into the playoffs and deliver one of the most heartbreaking losses to the Green Bay Packers. And you go to overtime with a Rams team that is looked at as a Super Bowl favorite at the beginning of the season, knowing all the things that you needed, knowing all the answers that you needed. Knowing all the questions that you needed answered at the beginning of the season when it comes to, do you have a head coach? Yes. Do you have a quarterback? He struggled in this game. I know people are going to be jaded by the really nice touchdown pass that he had at the end, but I'm still going to say yes, absolutely. The thing is with Caleb Williams, the way I look at him is like when the highs are high with Caleb Williams, they are high. When the lows are low, they're low. But like it's not one of those things where I look at it and I say, that's the quarterback that I expect him to be going forward. Like, I think that he had a lot of work that he had to do when it came to being a legitimate NFL quarterback. And I feel like this season, he made a lot of progress to getting to where he needs to be. Now, next year, the expectations have to be high for Caleb Williams. The expectations have to be, you're one of the easily top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. He's flirting with that right now. He is. He just needs to be a little more consistent. But for him, like, the thing is with Caleb Williams, for him to go from the Shane Waldron offense to now the Ben Johnson offense, those two offenses are the polar opposite. Shane Waldron is a very vanilla offense. Ben Johnson is the complete opposite of vanilla. Like, you have to play the quarterback position for Ben Johnson, right? And I feel like Caleb Williams has taken such a step in the right direction to becoming a true NFL quarterback. And the thing and he is an NFL. I'm not trying to say, I'm not understand what I'm trying to say when I say that. The one thing I like about Caleb Williams is this. Caleb Williams, if he wanted to be one of these running quarterbacks who's using his legs instead of actually doing the process of the quarterback position, Caleb Williams could do that. Caleb Williams could be a quarterback that could run for 80, 90 yards a game. He's very capable of doing that, but he doesn't do that because the way he looks at playing the quarterback position is you need to go through your process of being a quarterback. So, to put your drop steps, go through your reads, make sure that you're progressing the defense or processing the defense and progressing through your reads. And then if it's not there and it's a gotta have it situation, I'll use my legs. That's what I like about Caleb Williams. He's very calculated when he uses his legs. He's very effective when he does it, but he's very calculated. And that's what I really respect about Caleb Williams. And like when you look at this Chicago Bears team, for them to even get to this point in the first place, I just think is wildly impressive. And it's such a step in the right direction. Like compare where they were last year at this time to where they are right now, where they were hiring interviewing every coach on the face of the planet. Any coach who wanted to interview for a head coaching opportunity, it felt like the Bears interviewed them. And for them to ultimately end up with Ben Johnson, for them to go into the draft and make a pick like drafting Colston Loveland over Tyler Warren, we'll see how that pans out. But Colston Loveland's a really damn good player. And then you draft Luther Burden in the second round, who looks like an absolute monster. And you have Roma Dunze, who is taking a step in the right direction. And your offensive line's improved. We'll see what they do defensively, but they have a really damn good coach on that side of the ball. There are so many positive things. Like if you were to ask me, which team do I feel better about going into next season? Is it the Bears or it's the Packers? It's not even a question. It's not even a question. It's the Chicago Bears. And it's not even something that I would even consider. Like the Packers are in such a bad spot going into next year. But the Chicago Bears, like I feel so much better about them. Like if you were going to get the Bears, you were going to get them this year. Caleb in year 3 is going to take that jump. He's going to be a no question, no doubt about it, top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He has the potential to be a top 5 guy. Like that's how good he is. If he continues to stack years. Now, when I mean stack, because like this year, it wasn't like he arrived and it's like, oh, no doubt about it, he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I don't think that it was that type of year for Caleb Williams. But at the same time, like he took such a step in the right direction that going into next year, I feel great about the prospects of Caleb Williams. And I feel great about the prospects of this team. Like Ben Johnson has proven himself that he is one of the very best coaches in the entire NFL. Like, and what I like about Ben Johnson is this. There was that thing with Peter Schrager where it was like, oh, the McVay tree, they're so upset at Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's like, I don't care. I don't care. What I love about Ben Johnson is this dude puts himself out there. He is a true leader of men. And again, like another thing with the Bears that I really like, they ran the ball extremely well this year. Like that's scheme to me. I think a lot of that has to do with scheme because when I look at their running backs, DeAndre Swift, I don't look at him as like a superstar type of player. He's good, but I don't think he's a superstar. Monungai is a good player. Caleb uses his legs from time to time. They have two wide receivers that can insert themselves in the run game when you talk about DJ Moore and Luther Burden. So again, there's like when I look at the Chicago Bears going into the next season, you have a quarterback, there's no doubt about it. You have young receivers that you think are going to be really good players in the NFL. You have a really good offensive line. You have a really good coach. You have a defense that at least has a defensive coordinator that is really damn good. And you have a defense that if you continue to add talent, it's going to be a really good defense. And they showed up tonight. There's no doubt about it. To hold the Los Angeles Rams to only 17 points in regulation when your quarterback throws 3 interceptions, that's pretty damn impressive. Even though I think he threw an interception in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. Did he throw an interception? Yeah, Caleb. So 2 interceptions in regulation, but still, I think you guys understand where I'm coming from there. But I want to move on to the Patriots and Texans game. And where do I want to do? I want to start with the Patriots, or do I want to start with the Texans? Because I feel like I have a lot more to get off my chest when it comes to the Texans compared to the Patriots. And I mean, what I really want to get off my chest, let's just address the elephant in the room. Because the biggest storyline coming out of this Texans game is about CJ Stroud. And he was awful. He was awful against the New England Patriots. He was awful against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think I saw a stat where he had 2 total touchdowns to 8 turnovers in the playoffs this year. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. That's awful. And like when I look at CJ Stroud, if you are the Houston Texans, there's no way you're telling me that you would feel good paying this guy north of $40 million. We're not even talking about over 50. We're not talking about 55 that Josh Allen is getting paid. We're not talking about 60 million that Dak Prescott's getting paid. You're talking about 40. I wouldn't feel comfortable paying him that. Absolutely not. I feel like the Houston Texans can find a quarterback that can at least not be a complete detriment to their football team. Because that's what CJ Stroud was today. He's the reason why they lost this game. 4 interceptions. Now, one of them, I guess you could say, like, it wasn't his fault. It went off the receiver's hands. But even still, he just looked lost out there. And, like, for him to do that in the biggest game, I don't know, man. And the thing is, like, I'm seeing these stats come out. He has 3 playoff wins. He's better than Dak and Herbert and all. Stop that damn talk. Come on. If you put Dak and Herbert on this team, they're winning the Super Bowl because they have a defense that is going to, now maybe Herbert, I don't know about all that because Herbert's playoff performances have been flat out egregious. Dak is a different story. Dak has played some good playoff games. I just don't think people give him the credit for that. But like the Houston Texans, the reason why they won games this year was not because of CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud was not the reason why they won games. They won games because their defense was the best defense in football this year. Like, so clearly and obviously the best defense in football. And like I said a few weeks ago, I feel good about the Texans. I think they're going to come out of the AFC. And the reason why I said that was because, all right, like, what's the team that's standing in your way? Are you telling me it's the New England Patriots? I feel like you could dial up Drake May. And that's what they did. Drake May was not good in this game. Drake May had a QBR of 20.7. He was not good in this game. Now, passer rating of 100.7, like that, it's pretty good, like obviously. But like when I watched the game, I don't think Drake May was great in this game at all. He was not good in this game. So they did what they were supposed to do defensively. And I mean, like, Drake May had 2 fumbles that they lost. Like, 3 total turnovers for the Texans defense. They did their job. And I don't want to hear the excuses of, oh, it's the play caller. Oh, it's D'Amico Ryans. Oh, Nico Collins wasn't there. CJ Stroud has not played well this year. He hasn't played well in the last 2 years. And I think you have to look at that and say, this is the player that he is going forward. So when people are asking, like, what happened to CJ Stroud after his rookie season. I saw this in his second year. I saw this in the sophomore year. He was not playing as well as he was the year prior. And man, like the Texans, they had such an opportunity. And they're going to have opportunities going forward here. Like, that's not an old defense they have. That defense is young. Some of the best players on that defense are young. Will Anderson, young. Derek Stingley, young. Kamari Lassiter, Caden Bullock, Jalen Petrie. These guys are young players. They're going to have opportunities going forward to put themselves in a situation where they can potentially win a Super Bowl because of how good that defense is. But if you have a quarterback like CJ Stroud and he's playing the way that he's playing, there's no way they're winning a Super Bowl with that type of play. Absolutely not. And I don't know if you guys can see. I got to call a spade a spade. And if the Texans are even considering, paying CJ Stroud this offseason, it shows what type of organization they are. Because there's just no way you're convincing me, or not me. There's no way you're convincing yourself that this is the guy going forward. Until he shows you that he can play at a high level again. And here's the thing, right? People do this thing when they're talking about the quarterback position. Can't let the quarterback go. Who's going to play quarterback for them? I don't know. Somebody better than CJ Stroud. There's plenty of quarterbacks that are better than him that you can find out there. And if you can't find a quarterback better than him, then find a quarterback that isn't that much worse than him, that you don't have to pay $50 million to. Let another team make a bad decision like that. If another team wants to dupe themselves into thinking that CJ Stroud is a franchise quarterback, let them. Don't be the team, though. Don't get attached to your own player. CJ Stroud is not worth the type of contract that he was worth 2 years ago. I mean, 2 years ago, we were talking, could this guy be a $65, $70 million quarterback after Dak Prescott signed that extension? No way in hell. I wouldn't pay. I'm dead serious when I say this. I wouldn't pay CJ Stroud $20 million. Did we watch him play this year? He was not good. Yeah, that is a real problem that they have on their hands. And look, I get it. Fans get attached to quarterbacks when they see a small. Now, CJ Stroud's a little different because he had an entire rookie season where he was playing out of his mind. But like I'm seeing this with the New York Giants right now, where they see like a small glimmer of hope, like, oh, this guy showed me a little bit. I'm going to be the biggest fan of this guy, and I'm not going to let anybody say anything bad about this guy. That's where we are with CJ Stroud. He's got to play better. And they lost this game because of him. And I honestly think the Texans need to consider making a change at that position. You cannot have this type of quarterback play and win a Super Bowl. You can't have it. So that's my take on the Houston Texans. Fantastic defense. Like one of the best defenses that I've seen in the last like 10 years. I think they're a well-coached football team, even though I hate that D'Amico Ryans didn't go for it on that fourth down at the end of the game and pretty much punted the season away. Awful decision. Awful. Hated that. But I think that with the Texans, the solution to their problems, we know what it is, and that's finding a new quarterback. But how do you answer that question is like, how do you find another quarterback is a question that I have. Because they do not grow on trees. Like people are right when they say that. But I just think you can find a better quarterback than CJ Stroud, in my personal opinion. Let's move on to the New England Patriots because, like the New England Patriots this game, they did not play a good game. Like you talk about the fact that Drake May had 3 turnovers in this game. That's not good. But at the same time, going forward, if you're the Patriots, knowing who's going to be playing quarterback for the Denver Broncos next week, you have to feel great about the situation that you're in. And we see this with teams a lot where you'll have a young team that they'll get to, a very deep point of the playoffs, right? Like You'll see a team like the Cincinnati Bengals where they get to a Super Bowl. And is it one of those situations where it's a young team, they have an electric quarterback, and they just have this magical run? Or is this something that's going to be sustainable going forward? Is the question that I ask. I think Drake May's play is going to be sustainable. I think Mike Vrabel is a damn good coach, but like they're not going to have the type of schedule that they had this season going forward, right? Like you're going to play better schedules going forward. And I say all of this to say this. They got to take advantage of this opportunity that they have in front of them. They do. They got to cash in and they got to win this thing. I get it. The future is bright. The future is bright in New England because you have a quarterback that I don't have him in the top 5 now, but in a year, 2 years from now, can he be flirting with like top 3 in the NFL? Maybe even the best quarterback in the league when Patrick Mahomes leaves his prime? Yes. That's the type of quarterback they have. But when you have these situations where you have a Broncos team that they're starting their backup quarterback, you got to cash that in and get to the Super Bowl. Anything else it's obviously not a failure per se, but you're going to be looking at yourself as like, man, we missed an opportunity there. Excited about the future, but we missed an opportunity. So like they got to win this game next week. There's no doubt about it because you just never know when, you get yourself in a situation where you can win as many games as they did in the regular season. And then you get the type of road that they got going forward here where Justin Herbert was awful. CJ Stroud was awful against the Patriots. You're not going to get this type of opportunity again, unless going forward, like the Patriots, I think are going to be the team to mess with going forward, right? Like they're going to be one of those like Buffaloes, one of those Kansas City type teams where like they're the team to mess with. But you just want to make sure that you're making the most of your opportunities. And for me, when I look at the Patriots, making the most of their opportunities would be this. At least getting to the Super Bowl, I think would be making the most out of your opportunities. Now, obviously, you want to win the Super Bowl, right? If you're in that thing, you want to win that thing. But when you look at the Patriots, this season has been an overwhelming success. It doesn't matter what happens the rest of the playoffs. And I know I'm going to sound like a hypocrite when I say that because I just said, you got to cash in on these opportunities. But 2 things can be true. Whatever way this season ends for them, if they lose next week, the season is a success. But on the other hand, you would absolutely want to win this game and you have an opportunity to make something happen. You do not live with the mindset of whatever happens, happens. You want to fight like there's no tomorrow if you're the Patriots. Because while, yes, I think there is absolutely going to be a tomorrow, and this is a team with a very bright future, you just never know when you get this type of opportunity. And like early thoughts on that game, yeah, I think the Patriots win that game. Like, I don't know. Jarrett Stidham, I don't think he's played in an NFL game since like 2020, I think I saw somewhere. You got an opportunity. Cash in on it. Salute to the Patriots. Congrats for getting the AFC Championship game. This season for them was a flat-out success, no matter how it ends. And they have a lot to be proud about, right? Like they got the quarterback, they got the coach, and a lot of questions that they had going into the season have been answered. That's going to be it for the CEO Sports Show, though, guys. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Greatly appreciate that, and I will see you guys in the next episode.